Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. The video I'm about to do is one that pains me to the core, but one that needs done all the same. You see the title screen at the start of each of my videos. As my good friend Steve Snyder said, you can put the truth anywhere. It is a model this puppet lives by, and what is about to unfold before you is nothing if not the absolute truth. Wealthy Jews were ruining the United States of America. Yep, I said it. And why exactly does it pain me to state that fact? I have Jewish ancestry in my own family and believe firmly in the biblical affirmation of the nation of Israel as that which was promised to the descendants of Judah. You can find it written in the Old Testament. You can find it written in the Torah. Unfortunately, what we're seeing in modern-day America is the worst actors on the world stage, so often the Jewish faith, doing everything within their power to either deliberately ruin the United States or else to morally bankrupt us even further. What? How can you say such a thing? Hear me out. Allow me to take you on a trip back in time, back to the 1970s. Is there a particular rock band from that decade that one might easily associate with demons? Oh, you say Kiss. Who were the two prominent musicians-singers in that band? Try Chaim Witz and Stanley Eisen. Say what? Who are they? Oh, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, of course. Both New York Jews. Witz or Simmons used a stage persona of a hellish demon to perform for decades. Remember an early 1980s motion picture called Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Remember another early 80s motion picture called Paradise? Another called Private School? There was an actress in all three named Phoebe Cates. Born to Jewish parents, her real name being Phoebe Katz. Very attractive, let me just say that all three movies featured her in full frontal nudity at a young age. Her father, Joseph Katz, acquired a good bit of wealth as a producer of Broadway and TV shows, including the $64,000 Question in the early 1960s. Another, maybe somewhat lesser-known, quote, actor who started around the same time was Ron Hyatt, better known as Ron Jeremy. Who is he, you ask? Only the most prolific male pornographic performer in history with over 2,000 porn movies to his credit. His current net worth is estimated at $2 to $5 million. Are we seeing a trend yet? While on the topic of pornography blight, it needs to be said that the wealthy Jews are heading many major pornographic companies to this day. I will also use Phoebe Cates as a segue into the topic of Hollyweird. You know, the large sewer of immoral woke trash continually pumping out filth and progressive propaganda on a regular and recurring basis to the American populace. Ever heard of a felon named Harvey Weinstein? Well, for the uneducated, he was a big motion picture producer who was exposed in 2017 as having committed sexual assault and rapes against numerous actresses as a means of them being able to advance their careers. This guy was as low as they get, and oh, by the way, Jewish. Suffice it to say that many top Hollywood motion picture companies are in fact headed by Jews. Paramount Pictures, headed by Brian Levine, who changed his last name to Robbins to attempt to try to hide his Jewish identity. Disney Studios, headed by Bob Iger, a Jew. Disney's former CEO, Michael Eisner, a Jew. If you're like me, you've seen nothing but a glut of immorality and debased content coming from all these studios over the last few decades. Yep, I thought so. Now allow me to go into world politics. Merrick Garland, yes, that Merrick Garland. You know the current head of the Biden crime cartel's protection ring? Yep, Jewish. Ever heard of a Jewish family called by the name of Rothschild? Oh, they happen to be in banking and finance based out of Frankfurt, Germany, and wield large influence over governments and corporations the world over. In fact, they are deemed to be the number one cause of worldwide suffering by many. I believe each person under the sound of my voice has to have heard of one George Soros, probably the largest cause of liberal progressive woke insanity the world has at this juncture. Wealthy philanthropist, Jewish, of course. Are we seeing a trend here? Here is one that many may not be too familiar with, Jeffrey Katzenberg. Who is he, you might ask? Former head of Disney Studios, now a co-partner in a company called DreamWorks SKG. DreamWorks SKG was founded by three Jews in 1994, and they put out movies such as Shrek, among others. What do the letters SKG represent? Spielberg, Katzenberg, and Geffen, three of Hollywood's biggest Jewish oligarchs. Katzenberg is labeled Biden's right-hand man in Los Angeles and basically funds and backs every immoral, woke, liberal cause you can think of. Ever heard the name of Jeffrey Epstein? Yes, the purveyor of underage girls to every wealthy client you can list. The owner of the now infamous Epstein Island? Yes, that Jeffrey Epstein. The one who mysteriously supposedly offed himself while being held on federal charges. What religious background was he? Oh, Jewish, of course. On and on and on it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. Do you know of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg? The couple who sold American nuclear secrets to the Soviet Union during World War II? Jews, and obviously bent on American destruction. About 15 years ago, one Bernie Madoff made national and international news as the mastermind behind one of the largest criminal Ponzi schemes in history, which defrauded investors of billions of dollars. He went on to die in federal prison at the age of 82. Jewish, of course. Investment banking, Wall Street. Suffice it to say, the vast majority of the most despised firms are headed by Jews. Why are they despised, you ask? Well, because of unscrupulous tactics such as private equity firms that buy otherwise decent companies, gut them, and sell them off the remains. Yep, it has gone on for decades now and is the reason much of America is in dire financial straits. There's a professional sports corporation known as the National Basketball Association, or NBA for short. Its former director was a man named David Stern, a Jewish religion. Its current director is a man named Adam Silver, also of Jewish religious background. Why do I bring up Sports League and its director? Oh, because for the past 5 years they have become known as the biggest sellout of communist Chinese propaganda this side of Asia. Their star LeBron James is the largest sellout to the enemy we have seen in some time. One last, but of extra prominent importance, Mark Zuckerberg. Yep, the one who paid for illegal election interference in 2020. The same one who censored and blocked people against their constitutionally guaranteed right to free speech. Jewish. Who would have guessed? After listing all these, there are so many more who I have not. I think it is apparent for all to see that the largest cause of American doings and sinking into immorality, poverty, and disparity are wealthy Jews. Their corporations and monetary influences are truly rotten to the core. I know all too well the common everyday shouters will come out and call me everything under the sun for stating these facts. So be it. You can put the truth anywhere. Good night, and sleep well.